Wow, we have an amazing number of things going on the chart today. I have so much to show you. It's so exciting. But first, if this video resonates with you, will you please subscribe and like the video? Thank you. It's amazing. We have 0 amplitude today, and I'm going to show you that on the amplitude chart and then show you the last time that I've noted that we had 0 amplitude on the chart, because I think it's a big deal. It's pretty amazing, and I'm going to explain it in a second. Check this out. This is so cool. It's part of the reason why you see almost no color on the chart, just some very thin blue lines. Interestingly, there's an amazing background signal on the chart today. This also has not been on the chart for quite some time. Another amazing thing that happened is the vertical wave pattern came back starting between 9 and 10. And I am just wondering, how are you guys feeling? Because I've been wondering, with this sinking wave pattern that happened for 18 days in August, and then there were the solar flares and the geomagnetic storms, and it came back. Then there were the solar flares and some geomagnetic storms, and it's come back. Because it's actually in the chart twice today. You can see here, it's also on the 3rd. See right there, it came right back. So this is what I was wondering, and this is why I'm saying, how are you feeling? Because I feel like we were kind of in a flow of the energies with this vertical curtain sinking around 9 to 10 a.m. And then you get knocked out of that, but your energetic system is used to it. And then it comes back, and maybe you feel better, or maybe things settle down. Then you get knocked out of it again. Then you come back. And I wonder if this is part of why the current energies have been so tough, because the body veers towards homeostasis, like where it is comfortable. It gets comfortable in a certain status, and the body just wants to be back there, because it's just comfortable there. That's why changing takes consistent application, because you've got to, and then it becomes hard. Right? When you change at some point, it becomes really hard. And that's because you're asking the body to move out of homeostasis into a new level and make that the new homeostasis. My friend Alex is a biologist, and she's talked a lot with me about this. And every time we get energetic upgrades or upgrade our consciousness, we go through that. So that's what I'm wondering, is if we're being knocked out of our comfort zone and then we go back in, and then knocked out and go back in. Now, I have a fascinating video coming up about the 9 to 10 a.m. time zone. Not time zone, about the 9 to 10 a.m. pattern start, because I narrowed it down to what I think, the time that I think it's synced to these vertical waves, and I did an astrology reading. So that will be one of my next videos, so keep an eye out for that. Let's take a quick look at the 0 amplitudes. So there's more than one interesting thing on this chart. The first thing is that we've had 0 amplitudes, and they are right here. Okay, so you can see here, just 0, 0, 0, 0, just 0. And there's times when the amplitudes have gone down to 2 or 3. That's very common. But to go to 0 is like, whoa. And I'm going to explain how that could even happen, because some of you might be saying, how could that even happen? 0 and then 0 in the white. So let me explain 0 amplitudes to you, and then we'll talk about the other interesting aspect on the chart about amplitude. So let's say that you have a fan on your desk. And the fan has settings, right? High, low, medium. So if the fan is off, you could consider it being like it being at 0 amplitude, right? We're talking about layperson's terms here. I want to make this understandable to everyone and to our everyday lives. And so the so that's why I like to talk about it this way, because I think that these concepts can and should be part of our everyday lives. So anyway, so the fan is sitting on your desk. It's off. The energy coming through the fan is zero. There's no energy coming through the fan. It's like it has a zero amplitude. When you turn it to low, maybe that's like it has a 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, something like that. When you turn it to medium, maybe that's comparable with 20 or 30. When you turn it to high, maybe that's comparable with 80. You see what I'm saying? That's a story, right? Because we would measure the amplitude of the fan slightly differently because than the amplitude of a non-physical, very low hertz level. But it's comparable, right? So this is like our fans are off. The energy is low. And what it is truly like is like a reset. So we get to rest and we get to, it's almost like a free space or free time. We can completely, I feel like in this energy, we can completely change our attitudes. We could make big shifts. It's like the electricity going out, and I am actually aware of that today because I'm in California and they're constantly threatening to turn the electricity off here like they are today. I do not consent, and I hope that it doesn't happen. I hope that it doesn't happen, but even the energy is disgruntled by that, right? But it's interesting because in my last neighborhood, I was more in the trees and it was a little bit more not country, but towards that. And the power, a tree took down a transformer. And it took 4 days for the electricity to be turned on. And it was so interesting. And I'm telling this story because it'll relate to the amplitudes at zero. It was amazing. With zero electricity, everything felt different. And I had never realized it before. But there's something about having the electricity on that it's like there's a constant hum in the background. And because we don't really perceive it, because to us it's non-physical and we can't really see it. And because we're born into it, we're born into having this electricity in the background, we're not aware of how life is different without it. But for that 4-day period, it was amazing. I felt calmer. I felt like I felt more protected in energetically. I felt a greater connection with the divine. And it's interesting because where I live now, a couple years ago, near where I live now, the power went out for days again. Okay, this was, who knows what disaster that was that happened. And that time the power went out for a few days as well. And they were running generators so that we could, plug our computers in once in a while. It was so amazing. It was another, 2, 3, 4 day period. Maybe it was 5, 6 days. Even cell phones were down. I did not feel hungry. This is the amazing thing. Okay, I only felt like eating when I was hungry. There wasn't this constant idea for me of, ooh, what's in the fridge? Or, ooh, am I hungry? Ooh, do I want to get some food? It was so interesting. And I had to wonder if being affected by the electricity has something to do with that. It was just so striking. It's like there was something that had been nagging at me that was gone. So anyway, what I'm saying is that's what the amplitudes at zero are like. Whatever was being transmitted, emitted, even by the collective consciousness, you have the chance to individually disconnect from that. And it's funny because I was talking to a friend, Coco, and I'm going to show you something she sent me this morning. But we were talking yesterday, and I told her, I'm going to totally disconnect. She said, oh my God, the energy's, and I said, today, I'm just taking a break. I totally disconnect from the whole thing. And I can do that as a divine living soul in this human body. I can choose to have it completely different for me today, because I'm a creator being. And if it's in alignment with my soul, right? If it's in alignment with highest good through me and divine will through me, bam, it's possible. And that's what I created for myself yesterday. And today the amplitudes are at 0. It's so cool. All right, now let me show you the other thing, okay? Yellow achieved higher amplitude than the white resonance. Oh my goodness, this was at this spike here. And the white was at 51, and you don't normally see this, okay? Usually the white is higher than yellow. So this was a strong energy in what I would call the astral, the yellow representing the non-physical, in my view, closest to the body. Now here's something interesting that also happened with the qualities. You can see, and I apologize, there's some noise in the building today. There's straight lines here. You see this? Very straight lines. And this actually continued for the rest of the chart. The qualities flatlined, and fascinatingly, the red flatlined at 24. Okay, now when it had flatlined last fall, it was more in the 20 plus. But today we're flatlining at 24. It may have been up at 24 as well. I thought that was interesting. But all of the qualities just flatlined while the amplitudes are at 0. Now that's interesting that the red has increased while amplitudes are at 0. The yellow, you can see here, is about 5. The green, I don't know, maybe it's at 7 or 8. Let's see where and about 5 for the white. So the red has really spiked up. Isn't that interesting? Now this can represent the shadow side of the personality, the forces of darkness. It can also represent your passion. And maybe with a disconnection from, anything transmitting to humanity, from anything about the greater human consciousness. Maybe you can finally feel your passion. Maybe you can finally feel, what do I care about, instead of what everyone else is telling me to focus on. And that would be a rise in the red. Isn't that interesting? All right, let's see what the frequencies are doing here. Yeah, the frequencies went up and thin-lined as well. And the interesting thing is, see, look here. For some reason, they raised up to the. This is so amazing. Okay, because look at this. Okay, 8.8. Now we have been told by various physicists who get printed in lightworker type publications that the frequency range cannot change. But let me show you something. This is at 8.8. I don't think I've seen that before. Okay, that is freaking high. And 7.2, oh my gosh, that's so low. I mean, this is an extraordinary expansion of this range, in my view. Okay, let's check the other ranges. Yeah, the other ranges are, the other one is 15.1. I don't know if I've seen it. We may have seen it in the 15s before, but not very often. So that was really high as well. And it's interesting because while white, yellow, and red all had this kind of dome effect in the frequency flow, the green was concave, right? Isn't that interesting? And let's see here. I'm going to find 25. That's 24. This is about 25. So about 22, 25.2 is right here. Yeah, the green is below 25.2 for the most part. And if you've watched me for the last couple of years, you know why that number is important. It seems to be a level at which humanity feels very protected. And so here we are feeling protected, amplitudes at zeros, quality staying still, and maybe we can finally feel, what do I really care about? That's what the chart says to me. The background signal, I'm going to link a video that I did about the background signal where I went over this phenomena. It's a short 2-minute video. And that is this video right here. And amazingly, in this video, I used the chart with the same level amplitudes. This is the chart where the amplitudes are at 0. And let me show you that. It's amazing. This is the chart for November 26, 2019. And I have a video for this day. I'm going to link it below, where I talk about the amplitudes being at 0. Amazingly, it was also in a new moon period, because we are still in the new moon period. The full moon is on September 10th, so the full moon isn't for 5 more days. And look at this other amazing coincidence, okay? There's a vertical wave curtain. And now this one starts between 8 and 9. Now we have had some of these start between 8 and 9. But our current curtain is starting between 9 and 10. But I just thought it was interesting that there was another series of vertical waves all together, like we're having currently, with the difference obviously being this is just dominated by the white resonance. Now the other interesting coincidence, we recently had a red spider, as I like to call it, in the chart. And here you can really see how clear it looks here? So this is a really cool video. If you want to go back and listen to this video, I've been talking about this stuff for a while now. This was 4 years ago. So anyway, so this is what the 0 amplitude looked back there, and I called it a reset. Okay, and there was this interesting image here of I called this a gargoyle because it looked like a head, a body, and see how it's like it's kind of crunched with a hunched back. Here's the hunched back here, and then its legs sticking out like on top of the churches, they have those type of things. And it was like there was a gargoyle and there was a reset. It was like it was trying to scare us from calming the heck down and getting in touch with our own energy. Boy, that's a good interpretation of that. I didn't say that on the video because I wasn't sure how to interpret the gargoyle at that point because of the red spider here. Isn't it so fascinating? The same series or similar series of events is happening in the chart, but it's spread out over days. Today, we have a different image in the chart, and Coco sent me that. I'm going to show you that in a minute. But look at this. So this is, you see in between here, this isn't black because there's no data. It's black because the amplitude is at 0. Isn't that cool? And as I said in that video, it gives us the chance to reset. Now, there was actually also another phenomenal thing happening at this time. So we will have to look for this phenomena now, which is there was an extraordinary spike in green quality. And to me, how I interpreted this was it looked like a human backbone. Alex and I had actually looked at this together back then, it looked like a human backbone, like the idea of the divine template for human beings. The quality here was, I believe, at 250. Let me see if I have that right here. Let me see here. There's the quality. It was at 150. Is that right? 26, 6 a.m. Yep, 150 right there. So that's pretty cool. And you had a big spike in white to 31 in the quality. So quality being the truth of, the truest truth of what this energy is, the highest spike meaning a stronger expression of the truth of what this, whatever it is. And interesting, we had a spike to 21 at this time as well. Wow, interesting. Okay, now here's the amplitudes, and you can see here, they are bottoming at 0. That is really cool. Let's just look at the frequencies for the heck of it. Oh, look how different the frequencies look from this time period to today. Isn't that interesting? And look, there was also a dip here, a flattening here, and a flattening here. This time around, before 0 amplitudes, we had a curve upward, curve upward, curve upward, and then curve downward. I'm just checking. Yeah, the frequencies here. Look, see this? Look at this. Okay. Before all of this rigmarole of the last now almost 3 years with our global crisis, the frequencies in green used to go up to 27, 28. Yeah, that's the high end of the range. And we haven't seen that for a very long time now. And here you had 8.5. So today we were at 8.8. And look, 7.2, a similar low. Boy, I really wish I had a lot of data and the time where someone paid me to look at this, because I could thumb through this data and just really, I used to do that for work. I used to look at data, not this kind of data though. But I want to show you one other thing, okay? Because I've talked about this a lot in my videos, but I want to show it to you. So this is also this is the week before the chart I just showed you, but I often talk about the typical highs in green, okay, being at 30 to 31 in the qualities. So here's 31, and you can see this is what the qualities used to be like, okay? Boom, 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 31. It was like this. I mean, it must have been over 2 years straight, 18, 19. I don't have all the data for it. This stopped when the COVID crisis hit. Really interesting. Yeah, it was really interesting. And let me tell you something else. When the COVID crisis hit, every time we went 15 or above in the green quality, another image would show up on the chart that would look like a genetic karyotype. It was like going over 15 for some reason allowed humanity to be attacked. I don't know why. Maybe it's because it allows us to be located and found, because it's in my view, it's a clearer signal when the quality is higher. Now I'm getting in the weeds on this, but I just wanted to show you guys that, because I mentioned this a lot, and here it is right there, 31, bam, 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 so many peaks. This is what it was like every day. So let me show you the last thing, the photo that Coco sent me. This was really cool. I'm going to make it a little smaller. Can you see the face here? She sent this to me at like 6:30 in the morning, and she goes, "I'm sorry if you're not awake." And I said, "I've been up since 5:30. So we had a nice chat this morning. But check this out, okay? She told me that she thought this looked like Abraham Lincoln looking forward. See the big heavy eyes, the large nose, the flat line mouth, and the very, very dark hair here and coming around the big sideburns there. I have to agree with her. I thought that was a beautiful observation, and I can't believe this was hard to find, this image, this face. And then it's so amazing. Look at this here. See the lady in blue, or it's almost like a spiritual being in blue here. You see the eye, here's the mouth, here's the very fine nose, head, and that's the whole head, and that's the hair up there. So I'll let you take a look at it on your own now. I want to say thank you to her, Coco, for sending me this. This was really amazing, and I think we're at another point in history. Abraham Lincoln was in a similar fight against similar forces, global forces, that we are now. And his achievement is that he kept the country together in the face of those forces which were trying to break up our country, the United States of America. And we're clearly, for this country, we're clearly in a time like that now. And we need a leader like him. We need a tough, badass leader who fights for the people. That kind of leader has spiritual guidance. That kind of leader is anointed by the divine. For times like these, we need a special person, and we need to lead ourselves. This